Taijuan Walker gets absolutely shelled by the basement-dwelling Washington Nationals, coughing up 6 earned runs on 10 hits in barely 4 2/3 innings of work. And Rob Thomson steps up to the microphone to tell us his stuff looked good. Look, Philly fans aren't looking for excuses. We're looking for wins. When you are chasing Red October, you cannot afford to look at a disastrous divisional start, featuring 3 walks and a measly 2 strikeouts, and pretend it's a silver lining. This isn't the Bronx, and Rob Thomson cannot start sounding like Aaron Boone defending a broken process. We demand accountability at Citizens Bank Park, especially when the NL East race is already breathing down our necks and the margin for error is 0. Let's strip away the manager speak and dive straight into the advanced metrics, because the numbers from this start tell the real, unfiltered story of what's happening at the back end of our rotation. Thomson wants to point out that Walker touched 94 mph on the radar gun. Great. But his average 4-seam fastball velocity sat at a pedestrian 91.5 mph. In today's Major League Baseball, if you are sitting low 90s without elite command or devastating secondary pitches, you are going to get hit, and you are going to get hit hard. Walker threw 99 pitches on Monday night against a lineup that frankly shouldn't be scaring anyone in the National League. Do you know how many whiffs he generated? 6. 6 swings and misses on nearly 100 pitches. You cannot survive in this league, let alone pitch high-leverage innings down the stretch, if you cannot miss bats. His barrel rate is going to skyrocket if he keeps leaving pitches over the heart of the plate, and his whip is already in the danger zone. Now, to be fair to the analytics and to give Thomson a shred of credit, the manager wasn't entirely fabricating the contact quality. The average exit velocity allowed by Walker was just 82.3 mph. He was inducing soft contact, and yes, some of those 10 hits were seeing-eye grounders that found holes in the shift. But when your strikeout rate plummets to the floor and you are pitching entirely to contact, you are playing a dangerous game of roulette with your defense. You aren't generating PQS, quality starts, when you rely on luck to get out of jams. The launch angle against him might not have resulted in home runs this time, but the sheer volume of traffic on the base paths is a recipe for disaster. When you allow 10 hits and walk 3 batters in less than 5 innings, your xWOBA, expected weighted on-base average, is going to look like a nightmare, regardless of how softly the ball was hit. Soft contact is great when it's a byproduct of deception, but when it's the only tool you have left because your velocity is gone, you are just waiting for the dam to break. This brings us to the managerial philosophy and the culture inside the clubhouse. Rob Thomson has been a revelation for this franchise since he took over, guiding us through incredible playoff runs. But this specific brand of blind optimism? It's concerning. It sounds exactly like Aaron Boone in New York. Ask any Yankees fan about Boone, and they'll tell you that he fervently supports his players until the very end, even when it makes absolutely no sense. Last year, while Anthony Volpe was mired in a terrible slump and committing blunder after blunder in the field, Boone called him a top shortstop, despite the former top prospect staying stagnant over his first 3 seasons. Thomson is doing the exact same thing with Walker. He doesn't need to bash the guy in the media. We aren't asking him to throw his veteran under the bus. But glossing over the silver linings and calling a 6-run shellacking good stuff doesn't do anyone any favors. It insults the intelligence of the fan base, and more importantly, it sets a dangerous standard in the clubhouse. The Phightins are built on grit and accountability. If a guy doesn't have it, acknowledge the struggle and talk about the adjustments needed. Don't tell us it's raining when we can clearly see the sprinkler system is broken. Let's pivot to the front office, because Dave Dombrowski is playing chess while others play checkers. But the Taijuan Walker contract remains a glaring, immovable piece on the board. We are talking about an $18 million hit to the payroll for the 2026 season. Those are massive luxury tax implications for a guy who is currently pitching like a borderline 5th starter, or worse, a long reliever. Dombrowski built this roster with a ring-the-bell mentality, stacking the deck with elite, high-priced talent like Bryce Harper, Trea Turner, and Zack Wheeler. He has pushed the chips to the center of the table year after year. But a rotation is only as strong as its weakest link. When Zack Wheeler goes out there, you expect dominance. When Aaron Nola or Ranger Suarez take the bump, you expect a chance to win every single time. When Walker takes the mound right now, the bullpen immediately starts stretching in the first inning. That $18 million is dead weight if Walker cannot figure out how to navigate a lineup 2 or 3 times through. Think about what Dombrowski could do with that kind of financial flexibility at the trade deadline. Instead, the Phillies are handcuffed to a veteran whose velocity has been steadily declining for years. We saw the exact same warning signs last year. The velocity dips, the early inning struggles, the inability to put hitters away with 2 strikes. Thomson loves Walker's competitiveness. He won 15 games a couple of years ago. We get it. But past performance does not guarantee future results, especially when the underlying metrics are screaming regression. The Phillies front office has to look at this objectively. If Walker cannot maintain a consistent 93-94 mph average and find a way to generate swings outside the zone, this rotation has a massive hole that will be exposed in October. And let's talk about the ripple effect this has on the rest of the pitching staff. When your number 4 or 5 starter can't get out of the 5th inning, it taxes the bullpen. We have guys in that pen who are designed for high-leverage innings, guys who are supposed to be fresh for the 7th, 8th, and 9th. When Walker gets chased in the 5th, you are burning through middle relievers and exposing your premium arms to unnecessary wear and tear in April. You cannot win a division title if your bullpen is gassed by July. The NL East is an absolute bloodbath. The Atlanta Braves are relentless, churning out offensive production top to bottom, and the New York Mets are always lurking, ready to capitalize on any mistake. We cannot afford to throw away games against the Washington Nationals because our $18 million starter is hoping softly hit ground balls happen to find Bryson Stott's glove instead of trickling into center field. Every single game matters in this division. You drop a series to the Nationals in April, you might find yourself playing a wild card series on the road in October instead of resting up with a first-round bye. Thomson needs to stop glossing over the reality of the situation. Blind optimism doesn't win championships. Elite execution and ruthless accountability do. If Walker doesn't make a drastic mechanical adjustment to find his velocity or completely reinvent his pitch mix to survive as a finesse guy, maybe leaning heavier into a splitter or a cutter to induce weak contact that actually stays in the infield, Dombrowski is going to have to make a ruthless decision before the trade deadline. You cannot carry a liability into the postseason. You just can't. This move, or lack thereof, smells like the difference between another deep playoff run and an early exit. We need arms that can take the ball in October and dominate. Right now, Walker is fighting just to survive the first month of the season. The front office knows it, the fans know it, and deep down, Rob Thomson knows it too. It's time to stop the Aaron Boone impersonation and start managing this roster with the urgency that a World Series window demands. The clock is ticking, the luxury tax bill is due, and the patience in Philadelphia is wearing thin. We want the parade down Broad Street, and we aren't going to get there by pretending a 91 mph fastball with no movement is good stuff. If you want the real, unfiltered truth about the Phightins every single day, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Let me know what you think Dombrowski should do with Walker. Ring the bell.